From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
It certainly is. And welcome to Postcard from Poprad. We are live on your radio set, which is what it should be for. You can always interact with us via, if you go to younow.com/RTI radio, you can interact along with everybody else, apart from Paul, who's being very silly, going test. Marvellous, thank you very much, Paul. I'm Eric Wiltsher at the base of the lovely Tatras Mountains, still covered in snow as it goes, which is not so bad. But I'll tell you about me later on in the programme, not at the beginning, because we've got some serious stuff to do first. We'll move over to the UK now and introduce you to the one and only bottomless Leigh Banks.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm doing very well. Apart from having a hunch on my back, which I've never had before, that is now making me look like Quasimodo, and I'm in incredible pain with it. And ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, and Eric's broken his leg.
I haven't broken my leg.
You have a poorly leg, therefore it doesn't work properly, therefore it's broken.
Yes, well, actually, I should say thank you to Susanna for trying to fix me up. Ďakujem veľmi pekne, Susanna, because it was wonderful. And it's the lovely Rach.
G'day, mate.
G'day.
How are you?
G'day, mate. How are you?
G'day.
Well, Uncle Leigh says, how do you do? And I thought we should say something Australian. I never say g'day, by the way.
Do you not?
Never used
How do you do isn't English, it's Welsh.
Is it?
There you go.
I learned how do you do off a Welsh double glazing salesman who used to get so paralytic drunk and he'd knock on people's doors and the first thing he'd say was, how do you do? Like that. And that's where I got it from 30 years ago.
Okay. Well, in which case then I should do it properly for here. Doobry den.
Do it.
I just did it. Doobry den.
You just do it.
Again.
Doobry den.
It's Dobry, not Dubry.
Yeah.
Dubry's a totally different thing.
That's why I talk in Slovak and nobody can understand me. But there you go. Boys and girls, we're going to have to be serious for a minute because there have been tragic events this particular week. And to quote Sir Winston Churchill, we are British, meaning we never give up. We never give up. Hi to Dave Rhodes, who's just joined us as well. Radio Tatras International would like to make the following statement. The logic of the murderous terrorists to divide and separate, that's what they want to do, to cause pain and try to disrupt the lives of normal citizens. We will not, at this station, follow any of their efforts at all. RTI is proud of the many agencies that seek out these murderers, not just in the UK, but around the world. The police officers that protect us and our democracy are the pillars of our communities around the world. That's here, Slovakia, Australia, everywhere. One thing is for sure, those that defend us against these terrorists will find an amazing, absolutely amazing place in the afterlife. The murderers, hiding behind a religion which has nothing to do with their actions, will be confined to the fires of hell. To those that wish to believe all the hatred and conspiracy theories being offered within offline and online media, please widen your view of the world and join us to make the world a safer place. We'd like to say thank you to the military forces, the Secret Service agencies, the police teams that enable us to live the closest we have to a normal life, whatever normal is. And we'd like to repeat the words of Sir Winston Churchill. We never give up. Thank you.
Well said.
Well said.
I have a message for you already, Rach, but blimey. I think we'll do the messages in a moment, if you don't mind, boys and girls. London this week, as you probably heard if you were listening to me breaking into programmes on Wednesday, was horrific. It was a packed House of Commons, and the rest of the country stopped on Thursday for 1 minute to honour those who lost their lives, including PC Keith Palmer, a wonderful man who managed the gates at Parliament and was never too big. He wasn't one of those snobby people. Anybody said, can I have a photo, can I have a selfie with you? He'd be there and he'd do it. He was murdered trying to stop an attacker. We found out today that a 75-year-old man has subsequently died after the attack, as Mr. Rhodes from Streatham in South London. And something like 50 people were injured and 2 are still critical in hospital. There's been many updates from the police, from the different agencies, and eventually we found out that Khalid Massoud, and that's not his real name, by the way. That's not his real name. His birth name was Adrian Adjo. And unfortunately, this gentleman went into prison, and I'm sort of wondering whether that didn't impact on the way he started to think in later life. The Home Secretary and the Mayor, Syed Khan of London, has joined hundreds of people on a candlelit vigil in Trafalgar Square on Thursday evening to remember the people who lost their lives. In total, 10 people have been arrested now. 9 people are still being questioned by police. 3 women and 5 men were held in London and Birmingham on Thursday. And I don't want people to start getting all silly about Birmingham, because it does seem to be where a great deal of these terrorists seem to live. That's not to mean that Birmingham is a bad place. It's just one of those things where they seem to congregate in certain places, which is kind of good. Police have searched 5 addresses, still ongoing, and the detectives have seized 2,700 items, include massive amounts of computer data, which is wonderful, And Leigh found the next part of the story, which is all to do with a boxing coach, Leigh.
Yeah, Tony Davis, he was visiting the Houses of Parliament for a press conference, and he was actually leaving. He was on his way out when he saw the commotion taking place, where the police officer was being attacked, and he actually leapt over a metal fence and went in to try and protect the officer. Like you said, he's an ex-soldier, and it was just his instincts, and it goes right back to what you were saying at the beginning, Eric, where it was his instinct to fight to protect the people who were under threat. And that really is not the instincts of everybody in the UK today. We have a different attitude towards people, but the general attitude is, yes, we will fight to protect each other.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. There is a great phrase, I don't know if you've got the same thing, Rach, where they say here, or sorry, there in England, you can push a Brit, you can push a Brit again. You push the Brit the 3rd time, and they push back 10 times as harder. And that's not untrue.
No, not at all, no.
We have a credo that's similar, and that is protect your mate.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very much sort of, you know, take care of each other against evildoers. And I've got to say, this is... I woke up to this news. I literally opened my eyes and turned the telly on for the news, and there it was. And I thought, you know what? I'm sick of us having to do these stories. I'm really sick of it. It's senseless and it's stupid. And then it inflames, you know, arguments about silly things, Muslim versus Christian, and it's just horrendous. And of course, when we start arguing, it's divisive, and that's what ISIS, that's their intention. Their intention is to divide us through hatred. And
absolutely.
Our job as a global community who is the majority of us are set against violence, it's our job to not have those arguments and just to band together and you know, protect your mate.
Yeah.
That's what our job is to do. But, I mean, some horrendous things are still going on as a result of this, but some great acts of heroism. This fellow that you just mentioned, Tobias Elwood jumped in there and tried to and did CPR on this policeman, and you know he's got a great backstory. His brother, well, not great, tragic, but his brother was killed in the Bali bombings. He's seen his share of horrendous things, and you know, but still his instinct was to leap in there and help. And I really actually, on a personal note, I really have to send a get well and a cheerio to one of the people injured in that horrible event. Was a lady from South Australia, my hometown of Adelaide, and she got run over, but she's apparently doing okay.
That's good news.
So Yeah.
Well done indeed. And finally on this particular story, because we will change tack in a moment, there's a daily talk show on TV in the UK. It's on the ITV network, or Independent Television Network, and it's called Today's. And there's a very, very lovable lady on there called Hillary. I can't even say it. Holly Willoughby. Holly Willoughby. Willoughby. I was going to say the naughty version, but there you go. And poor Holly actually broke down whilst talking to Staff Sergeant Tony Davis, who appeared on this morning to discuss the horrific scenes where the Metropolitan Police officer was stabbed by that maniac outside the House of Commons. And poor old Holly, she just said, "You're so brave," and broke down. And I can really understand that. It's horrific to do these things on the media. And I want to say thank you to everybody that kind of, in a sideways way, thanked me on Wednesday for breaking into programmes here on RTI. So thank you very much, everybody, for your support, because that was fabulous. Now, before we carry on, I've got something to do, haven't I?
Have you?
Have you?
Yes.
What have you got to do?
Well, I've got to officially announce to the world, and this will include Paul B., who says, "Hey, Rach, your fanboy is here." All right.
Paulie, I'll see you tomorrow.
just to go around the globe twice with a mention. It's my honour, and it's a tribute to say to everybody, it was Rachel's birthday, and she was 55.
It's on Sunday. I wasn't 55.
Oh.
I was 155.
Oh.
Let's be factual. 155 years old and looking as fresh as a daisy. I'm a really old daisy, but still really fresh. But thank you very much. And I've got to say, happy birthday, Uncle Leigh. We missed it last week.
I know.
Got away with it last week.
I've been so hurt.
Well, we didn't miss it.
No, just ignored it.
No, we didn't ignore it, because we gave you nice messages on Facebook.
I had hundreds. It was amazing.
Great, isn't it? I love Facebook for birthdays, and I love it because you get two birthdays because people are in different time zones.
That's right. Very confusing. It is terribly confusing. Anyway, whilst all of London was going on, a lot of news people didn't pick up on a French Tunisian who was arrested doing a similar thing in Antwerp, would you believe? He was driving a loaded car with liquid gas, assault rifles and knives into a crowd of shoppers in Antwerp. I mean, is there something I'm missing here, or is it somebody was planning to do more than one thing at one time? What do you reckon?
I don't think so.
I think it coincided with the anniversary of the Brussels attack. Was a bit coincidental for my life.
I think there was that anniversary. There was the anniversary of the death of one of the world's greatest terrorists. And everything fell into place, and you see what my problem here is this: that while we say we shouldn't give credence to any kind of terrorist, what you have are Poundland terrorists, like the bloke in London, like this bloke in Antwerp. Yep. They're loners. They don't belong to a group. ISIS claims that they belong to them when they've committed an act of atrocity. So we actually give some credence to the acts. If there wasn't a terrorism element in this, if somebody used a car to mow down people and then jumped out and knifed people, we would be horrified. It would be one of the most horrendous attacks ever in the history of Britain. But because it's terrorist, it has a certain kind of equity to it, and that is absolutely shameful. Most of these people are working alone.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. Let's say hi to Paul Rustling in Hull, who's watching us and listening to us as well.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
We can hear you from here.
Anyway, we wish everybody well in Antwerp as well. Yeah. A lovely city. This actually doesn't surprise me, and I'm almost shocked to see it's taken so long to get here. And I really don't understand why. And the stories about the iPads, where they're saying that gadgets like iPads and large laptops and the like are going to be banned from flights to the UK from 6 countries, with some fears that ISIS could be using sneak explosives in them to get past the gates. And do you know what? I'm horrified it hasn't been done before.
Why?
Yeah, but what's the point, Uncle Eric? Because, I mean, really, if it's in the cargo hold, that's actually more dangerous for an ion battery to be in a cargo hold than it is to be in a pressurised cabin.
But that's the explosives rate they're talking about. Where
if they're going to explode something, if they're going to detonate something, they're going to do it whether it is in the cabin or in the cargo hold. They're going to do it.
Well, if they're going to do it remotely, yeah. But what we're talking about is people sitting with it on the laps and detonating it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better something from a mobile. I just don't see the
point.
Oh,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but hang on. Whoa. They're not going to be able to use a mobile in the cabin to detonate something in the hold unless it's just on takeoff, because they won't have a mobile signal.
Yeah.
Sure, but they will be able to use their mobile phone as an incendiary device. You can blow if you want to blow something up, you can do it using. Look, MacGyver did it the best.
Well, true, yes.
A paddle pop stick and a piece of string.
Yeah.
It makes, if you're going to blow something up, and do you think that a terrorist and a bomber is not going to is going to follow the rules and turn his mobile into flight mode?
No, of course not. And most of which flight mode is a bit pointless anyway. But anyway, just so, and I want to share this so that people don't get upset about it. The ban is going to include laptops, iPads, Kindles, Nintendo games consoles, other games consoles, other tablets, portable DVD players. They will all be banned in a similar way to liquids were banned back in 2026. Now, I know this all sounds a bit harsh and all the rest of it, but do yourself and everybody else a favour while we're in this situation. Get to the airport early. Give the security teams chance to do the work. And as a thought, just a little thought from me, Mr. Gadget, for a few hours, give your eyes a rest from the computer screens.
Do you remember those funny things that people used to carry with them all the time and use on trains? And what were they called, Uncle Leigh? Books.
Books. Yes, books. You could use a book. You could use a pen and a piece of paper.
You could.
Every time I use one of them things, I get blue fingers and it all goes down my shirt.
You could crochet a nice doily for your
learn how to do it proper.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a lot of things you can do on a flight.
Books.
Lots and lots of.
It is an interesting point, but again, while we're saying that really, you said at the beginning that terrorism is there to erode our way of life. And actually, finally having to ban computers from planes is yet another erosion of our way of life. People work on planes. A lot of people actually use that time to do something. Not everybody's going on holiday, and so in a way,
true, Leigh. But the bottom line is, if you're talking of a businessman, this won't impact on the businessman at all, because you're still allowed to take your mobile phone on board. And with a smartphone of today, you can read, you can watch movies, you can listen to music, and do all those same sort of things.
Oh yeah,
but it's just a smaller device. So, a smartphone today is really just a tiny version of a tablet device.
Of course,
and what 6 countries are they talking about anyway? I mean, from which 6 countries are they talking about this ban from? Because
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll look it up for you.
I'm just having a look. Be banned for Turkey, 2 North African countries,
Egypt and
Tunisia, Lebanon, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
And it's laptops, iPads, Kindles, Nintendos, 3DS game consoles, portable DVD players are all banned. Why can't you stick a bomb in a phone?
It's a bit hard.
You can't.
Is it? I don't know. That's a genuine question.
It's where you'd put it. And because you're scanning it quite simply through the scanner, it's probably, I don't know this for sure, but it probably means it's easier to see whereas it wouldn't be on a tablet or something, and it would be easier to hide in a tablet.
Yeah,
so I don't know. And do you know what? At the end of the day, 2 hours. Although I don't know, coming from Saudi, you're talking of 7 hours. But even so, you know, the modern smartphone can let you play movies for 4 or 5 hours. Then you can have a little snooze, glass of wine.
They got chargers in the armrest now, so...
Of course they have, yeah. So there's no big problem at all.
But thank goodness they're not banning them from Australia when I get on several planes at the end of the year. Robbie will be intolerable, although he'll sleep most of the way. After I give him 7 Valium, he'll be right off.
You're not telling me is he a 2-screen or a 3-screen person?
Oh, he's half a screen if he's on a plane, because as soon as we take off, he just goes to sleep.
Oh, that's all right then. He's
very lucky. I wish I could do that.
I can't.
Me too.
I can't sleep on a plane.
No,
I just can't do it. Because I'm always worried about my mouth coming open.
Oh, Leigh.
What?
We're supposed to be serious today, and you're going on about your mouth open and you snoring.
I didn't say I snored. It's that thing when your head goes back and your mouth comes open. Anybody can put anything in it.
You can't win, can you? We move on, boys and girls. We've got time for a couple of more stories before the break. And the first one is, and do you know, I didn't know what to write about this guy. There's so much that has been written, and I think I can only relate to the stories, having been lucky enough to see him. The genius that was Chuck Berry. Some call him the founder of rock and roll. Okay, I won't argue or agree or disagree. But he's died at the age of 70, and more than
he wasn't 70. he was 70 and 20.
Did I say 70? Oh, sorry, 90. Do beg your pardon. Right. I'm sorry. To me, he was more than that. He was just such a wonderful, old-fashioned styled entertainer, and he was a bit naughty. And
he was a naughty boy.
He was a bit burlesque.
He was a naughty boy in his own private life. He was a naughty boy. He used to do things that he should be ashamed of, and he never really appeared to be ashamed of them, i.e. like putting cameras in the public toilets at his restaurant.
That's terrible thing to do.
Naughty.
Yeah. Right. Let me do some housekeeping.
Housekeeping was also very shady.
No, but I'll tell you what, I've got to share this story.
Like taking a girl of 14 across the border to do that sex thing. That was a naughty boy. He was a naughty boy.
I know. But I've got to tell you this story. Because it was back in the 70s. He started touring England. I think he was slightly out of favour at the time. So he only did smaller venues. And one of them was in Stevenage. And so, as I didn't live very far away, we went to see him. And I actually got free tickets because a couple of mates of mine were bouncers, which was kind of cool. And so we go in there, and it was the first time I'd ever heard My Ding-a-Ling. It was just being released.
Like the trousers on then.
yeah. And he was on the stage. Everybody, he got the audience in his hand. He really had. The girls were singing "Oh My," and the boys were singing "Ding-a-ling." And when it got to the bit at the end where I knew one of these guys was like a gorilla. He was huge, and he was singing exactly to the bouncers, of course, who could not sing. And if you know the song, it means they can only be playing with their own ding-a-ling. Of course, a little bit of housekeeping for Paul Rustling. You only see people that have joined on the chat room when you're there, Paul. People that have already joined, unfortunately, you won't see them again until they make a secondary message. So it flows along with where you join in the conversation. But I don't know, Chuck Berry was just something special about him.
He was, and
My Ding-a-Ling was his only #1 hit.
I know.
You know that?
Yeah.
But
amazing.
If the people go to consumerwatchfoundation.com, they will read a world exclusive there on Mr. Berry.
Oh, he's got one in today, Rach.
Yeah, he got one in today.
He did, didn't he? It's only taken him 24 minutes.
Chuck Berry, and this is the story that everybody missed. But it's a true story, and the Consumer Watch Foundation got it. And that's the fact that Chuck Berry had actually put together his first album in 27 years and was about to release it. So posthumously, we are finally going to have a new Chuck Berry LP album for whatever. It's done, and we said it first. The thing with Chuck Berry is he was a naughty boy, but he was a genius performer.
Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely so. It was just wonderful to every. And the funny thing was that if you went to, and I've seen some of his concerts as well, the people that went there were not what you expected. It was kind of like 18 to 80-year-olds. They all went.
Well, yeah. That's the way he was, yeah. I saw a really, really good programme a couple of years ago about him with Keith Richard. And,
that's right.
Yeah, and the thing was, Keith Richard was totally, absolutely in awe of him and actually quite frightened of him.
What?
Yeah, he was, because he was so domineering, and he was actually telling Keith Richard exactly how to play things and telling him he was doing it all wrong, and he was shouting at him, and poor old Keith was looking really upset and frightened.
I know that feeling.
I do. Yes.
Yes, because you do it to me every week.
Ladies and gentlemen. We've both been ill, ladies and gentlemen, both of us together.
I know I'm in pain now.
I'm in
really
pain.
Adorable.
I'm in really bad pain.
Shall I make you really not well, Rach?
Yeah, go on, Rach.
Yeah, all right.
Below my right kneecap.
You can only do this if I can do mine.
Okay.
Pass then. Colin Dexter, the creator of Inspector Morse, has passed away. I'll get the age right. He was 86 years old.
Colin Dexter, I know. It's sad, isn't it?
I don't know. Inspector Morse.
Yeah.
Was it as big as people think it was?
Did you get it in Australia, Rach?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, it was a really big thing. And what it had got longevity. I didn't particularly like it. I don't particularly like English detective stories. I think they're very weak and rarely get beyond whatever that thing, murder at the rectory kind of thing. But yeah, it was a big thing. He wrote 14 novels, and he was a stalwart of our literary tradition in Britain.
Okay. Well, in which case, good on him. There's been so much negative press about this next guy. And sometimes I keep... Well, Leigh and I were talking this morning, and I think the word jealousy springs to mind again. David Rockefeller, he was a philanthropist and a banker. He died at the age of 101 years old. He was a billionaire by that point. He started off as Standard Oil, which was a huge American company until it was broken up by the government. But, by, I think it was 1911, he'd already become the richest man in the world. What an amazing thing to do.
Well, it is, and like you say, jealousy is what it's about. Why? I can explain this. If I can take the platform for 30 seconds, I'll explain this. We have a world...
He said 30 seconds, boys and girls. Clock him.
I'm going to do it really quick. You ready?
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Right, we have a world that's collapsing fiscally. It's totally out of control. Nobody can handle money. Banks are going to start charging you to keep the money in the bank. If you're a child, you can't afford to buy a house. You can't afford a job. You can't get a job. You've been to university. You're overqualified and you're in debt. So now, because we now have created a group of hippies, we are based on an age group that have become the new hippies, so automatically they accept they can't get anything, they can't do anything, and so we are jealous of the people who made it to the top, like Rockefeller.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
This is an appeal that I simply wish I didn't have to make. In this day and age, how is it possible that 1,400 children will die today from dirty water? That children like Elodie have to drink dirty water from rivers and swamps, risking their lives. Right now, you can help save a child's life. Text the word water to 70080 to give WaterAid £3. WaterAid has the expertise to install pipes, pumps and taps that will bring clean water to children at risk. They just need your support. In the next minute, dirty water will kill another child like Elodie. So please, don't wait to save a child's life. Text WATER to 70080 now to give WaterAid £3. Thank you.
If your dream holiday is 2 hours from the UK, perfect for children and teenagers, young couples and the older visitor, ideal for the physically active and for those who just want to unwind, Aqua City is the destination for you. Described by the Travel Channel as the place that will soon be on everybody's lips, be ahead of the crowd and the envy of your friends, but still enjoy a home from home. Come to Aqua City Poprad, the world's leading green resort.
From the heart of Europe to the world, RTI.
It certainly is from the heart of Europe to the world and probably somewhere else as well. You never know where it goes. Those Wi-Fi signals, they can go out for, eternity. This is Radio Tatras International and Postcard From Poprad with me, Eric Wiltsher, Leigh Banks and the lovely Rachel Brunsden, who is celebrating 155 years on Sunday.
She is.
Yeah.
She's very young for such an old lady.
Yes, I'm sprightly.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a Hoover joke
The
springing up
soft drinks
there.
are available.
There was a Hoover joke springing up there, you know.
Mine was better.
No, because like some would say old bag.
Yeah. That would be rude.
Can I just do a bit of breaking news here, which has just incensed me?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
It's just Jeremy Corbyn, who is not my favourite person in all the world, and how he ended up being leader of a political party is quite strange. And for somebody who appears to have no sense of propriety or what to say in the right place at the right time, this is what he's just come out and said. He's just said he's not happy with UK police or security services being able to operate a shoot-to-kill policy in the event of a terror attack. The man's round the bend.
Did he really say that?
Maybe,
Are we sure?
Maybe it'd be okay. Maybe it'd be okay then if they instead they used, shields and used him as one.
Well, they could like give him sweets and things like that, and try and entice them out. Yeah, look, I'll give you this Rolo if you come over here. Yeah, well, very clever. Yeah, no, it's the BBC. They're saying that he said it.
In which case, now he'll moan that the BBC hate him again.
Well, that's it. It must be fake news.
Yeah.
More fake news.
Drives me nuts. Yeah, there'll be more moaning and groaning. Hello to Rudo and hello to Tosson, who just joined us as well. Nice to have you with us. We've still got some more quite sad stories to do first. And the first one is really, really difficult. And it is difficult because Martin McGuinness passed away. He was originally the Chief of Staff of the IRA, turned to politics through Sinn Féin. And on one side of me, I really cannot abide terrorists, as you probably worked out. I think they're all cowards. But on the other side of the fence, he did help bring Northern Ireland to peace.
Well, there isn't peace in Northern Ireland.
Well, kind of is.
Well, what he did, he was a murderous terrorist. He killed, personally, with his own hands, loads and loads of people.
I agree.
He's also got into politics through some very circuitous routes, and that actually is what he is. He was a terrorist. He was a terrorist. He was a murderer.
Yes. I'm not disagreeing.
Well, yeah, so how could we think that he should really have gone into power? It was always a very strange thing when it happened, when he took over. Why would you put we got rid of Saddam Hussein because he was a murderer. So what?
Oh, my goodness. I was about to say that very thing. It's like if Saddam Hussein was alive today and had joined the Salvation Army, does that make him a good bloke? Come on.
No, I think there are levels within this, and so that's why I'm torn between two sides. I can never, ever, ever forgive him for what he did. And I'm drawn to the interview that was done with Oh, crumbs, I cannot remember, which was quite horrific on TV for the interviewer, actually, when he was asked what he thought of Martin McGuinness, and the one-word answer from this lord was murderer.
Yeah,
and he just didn't say any more.
Tebbit.
Yeah, Norman Tebbit said that, that's right.
Remember, his wife was blown up by these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why you just can't give up. You can't forgive. But,
no.
You know, did he or didn't he help bring the horrific violence in Ireland down to a very minimal level?
Not well, he did. He was reduced, but that was for all sorts of reasons. Yeah, because all of a sudden the politics over there had a voice and could be heard. It did, but there is no doubt that sectarian violence is still being committed on the streets of Belfast.
Yeah. A global story next up, and I'm going to correct some journalists because I'm a pedantic little sod like that. And if you'd have actually been watching the Select Committee as I was, and I physically sat there and watched it because it is of interest to me, the gurus of social media were called in to the Select Committee about some of the terrible things that are going on, because you've got people advertising alongside extremist videos.
Yeah.
And that was very true. And I also want to clarify something. I know that Google owns YouTube. I understand that. But YouTube is a separate entity, and it has to be, and it was always deemed to be that, albeit, there's a parent company over a subordinate company. But the way that people twisted everything to make it Google that went to the Select Committee is just not true. They did not go. They were not there.
Oh dear. And those naughty journalists there, like the Chuck Berries, they made it up. Fake news.
Yep, absolutely. It was. Because they were not. It was YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and social media groups that went to the committee. And somebody's asking them to build a case against YouTube, against Google. And it's not. Google's got nothing to do with Facebook. Google has nothing to do with Twitter. And in fact, the lawyers would say, if you want to take Google to court over it, there'll be a huge lawsuit in London, and they'll go, yeah, all right then, but we ain't YouTube, mate. You have to talk to them.
But there is a wider issue here, and I'm not really sure why this has happened in the way it's happened, because I've been appalled with news websites, all for the last year at least, where exactly this kind of thing is happening.
I agree.
The rule of thumb used to be that if you got an advert on a page about something, if it clashed with the news story, you moved the news story, because you can't move the ad because it's paid for. But now you find horrific stories starting out with an advert for Cocoa Pops. Then it goes into mass murder in Venezuela and stuff like that. It's a ludicrous thing, and well done this Select Committee for actually
absolutely. But do you know what the biggest problem is?
People.
It is a people issue, Leigh, because they're absolutely ruddy lazy.
Absolutely.
They are just lazy. If you look, I'm going to come clean here. As regular listeners know, on RTI, we do not run bunches of adverts like normal or old-fashioned radio stations.
Should have stopped at "We do not run."
We do give our airtime free to people like Cancer Research UK, along with various other good charities, responsible, extremely hard-working charities. Unlike Google, who charge them money, as do YouTube and many others.
I didn't realise that. Is that right?
Yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Naughty Google.
Charity advertising is one of the biggest market sectors going around the world.
I suppose it is, actually, thinking about it logically, yeah.
So we don't have those adverts, but we do pay And that's all my job is to make RTI break even. It's not there to make a profit. It's not there to, line the pockets of shareholders. It's there to just break even. And we do that by, and I'll ask you to have a look at some of them, wherever you are in the world, because they are selected for your area. Commercials for companies, and we actually continually monitor those to make sure that we have the correct adverts alongside our product. And it's the same for BT and Waitrose and Cancer Research and all the rest of these groups. I'm not in any way, shape or form covering up for social media. I'm not. But if the other people who are advertising don't look, are you telling me they don't look in the newspaper to make sure it's spelt right? Are you telling me they don't look on the television to make sure the commercial goes out? So if that's the case, why are they not looking on social media, have a team of people, or actually, even in the modern world, a computer to tell them what's alongside it, because a computer can do it?
I think that's a really, really good argument. I think it is shameful that you do a story or a video, you have a story or a video of a mother and child being crushed against a wall by some idiot who can't drive properly, and you see the graphicness of the video, and you start off with an advert for Toys R Us.
Yeah, they can pull it.
Of course they can. They're too lazy, like you said.
It's just laziness. What?
Laziness!
Rach, question.
Yeah.
Have you ever had, because you're our regular market research person, when you look at social media, have you ever seen any of these bad things alongside something that's normal?
No.
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think you will in Australia so much, because they're actually better at it than most countries.
Yeah.
Most countries. Australia are very, very good at making sure the act is clean. So why can't the companies in England do it?
Laziness. It can only be laziness. It was part of the job.
I rest my case.
It was part of the job to make sure that didn't happen until the idiots of the internet age took over.
Still laziness.
That's what I just said!
It's still laziness. And the fact is, do you know what? The other thing I don't get, who makes the computer? Who loads the computer? Who registers the computer? Who tells the computer what to do? A human being.
A human being who's all full of spots and has got glasses on, has never had a girlfriend, and is called a geek. That's what's wrong. The world is run by spotty geeks.
You're just jealous and horrible because you have to get one in every time you can't turn your computer on. Equally, I was annoyed with this story as well.
Why?
Because they used the TG words at the top of a Richard Hammond story. And Richard Hammond's got nothing to do with TG, which is a rubbish television programme anyway. This is about Richard Hammond.
Always was, always will be.
Right, we're not talking to Rachel now. That's it. Yes.
No, I've got to be nice because it's her birthday on Sunday.
Can't be nice to her on Sunday. Be horrible to her now.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Richard Hammond's fallen off a motorbike while he was filming The Grand Tour, not TG.
Well, who said it was Top Gear?
Some numpties in the newspapers.
I bet they didn't. In fact, I think you should be sued because that's fake news. You've just made it up.
No, absolutely not. I could... I can't remember if you worked for this. I don't think you ever worked for this newspaper.
Go on.
I don't think you ever did.
Which one?
The Times.
I've worked for the Times, you cheeky monkey. Well, I've freelanced for the Times. I've actually sub-edited for the Times. I've been in their office.
Can you go back again then?
I could go back there. The Times love me. In fact, if you remember, it was only last year we were doing some business with them, and it went very well.
That's true. I will stand corrected, but I'm fairly sure it was the Times that used the Top Gear headline.
Well, I can't think of anything that isn't a swear word.
No, I know what you mean. Anyway, Richard has laughed off the fact that he crashed his motorbike, saying he just bounced his back. That's what he does. He just bounces back.
He's a clumsy little dwarf, isn't he?
Oh dear. Hate mail to Rachel Brunsden somewhere in Australia.
We're not going to be nice till Sunday.
Well, he is. He's always falling off something or breaking himself.
Yeah, but the fun thing was this actually all came out. The Advertising Week backslapping event, where Hammond said, "Can I make it quite clear for anyone that saw? The papers ran a story yesterday that I'd injured myself again. That was 3 weeks ago."
Doesn't matter. He still did it, clumsy oaf.
Yeah.
and apparently,
it's actually a bit of a non-story.
Well, no, it's not.
Is.
Because
it is.
It's not.
It's not.
Because
Right, not then.
It's not because of the newspaper running the story. His mum, who lives in Birmingham, had sent him a text saying, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Because she saw the newspaper.
Yeah.
And clearly couldn't get hold of him.
Twice in 3 weeks, I should have drowned you.
Oh, poor old hamster.
Poor old hamster. And so, you need to be careful on this sort of stuff. You could be upsetting hamster's mummy.
Well, it's true. That's something that I actually will bring up with the National Union of Journalists next time I'm discussing it with them, that we must be very careful not to upset hamster's mummy.
Oh, actually, talking to the NUJ...
Yeah.
There's a post on there today on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which says Postcard from Poprad.
On the NUJ?
Yeah.
It's probably because I owe them money. I've not paid my sub.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Actually, can I just mention something about misrepresentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you just misrepresented Hammond.
No, I didn't. He's an oaf. On the RTI website, there's this blurb that says, Postcard from Poprad, award-winning broadcaster Eric Wiltsher.
Yeah.
Award-winning journalist Leigh Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rachel Brunsden from Roo Land.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I'm an award winner also. So
Are you?
I would like to take task with RTI for not mentioning said award.
What
I'm not just Rachel Brunsden from Roo Land. That makes me, I feel like an afterthought, and it's hurtful.
Go on then. What are you award-winning at? Have you had an Oscar?
No, but neither of you.
I'm not claiming it. I'm a journalist. I'm not a dear.
I'm not. I won my award for broadcasting also.
Did you?
Did you?
What was it?
I was best new talent at some station or other, but it's still an award.
Well, then you should put it on the site and chastise Petra.
Yeah, tell that Petra off.
It's not Petra's
somebody
fault.
else won't be talking to you.
She gets fed her information from others. It's not Petra's fault, but I'd like it rectified.
Well, then you should send it over and get it rectified, dear.
Yes, I think you should write in. You should write into the CEO.
Yeah.
And make
writing into the station I work for. I'm telling you right now. Write it down.
You've got to admit, you would never hear a programme like this on an old-fashioned radio, would you?
Nah.
No, not going to happen. Never going to happen.
Nah.
They don't know how to have fun like we do.
No.
A passenger...
She's been moaning. She's done nothing but moan. That's not fun. That's an old woman moaning. She's 155, you know.
And? How old does that make you, then?
I'm a very comfortable 238, actually.
Yeah, the story's coming up for you in a minute. After this one, probably. A passenger who jokingly, allegedly,
This is a very strange story.
This is really... poked a Ryanair steward in the groin. That could be, marital problems, couldn't it? During a row over drinking duty-free beer, was actually forced to sign the sex offenders register.
Very strange.
This is Thomas Slate, and I don't think we've got the whole story here, do you, Leigh?
Well, you haven't, because you chopped it out. I gave you the whole story, but you've chopped it out, so no, we don't.
Well, you can remember it.
I can remember it. Basically, what happened, this bloke from Manchester, Thomas Slate, who's a very strange name as well, went on holiday with his family to Spain, And on his way back, they were rather cheekily drinking their duty-free alcohol. Steward came over and said, "You can't do that. You've got to buy it off the plane," which I think is a bit wrong anyway. But
no, that's the rules of Ryanair. Has been for years.
It is. I'm just saying that I don't necessarily agree with their rules, but that's their rules. So in the melee, which was apparently quite jocular, there wasn't anything aggressive in it or anything like that, the man inexplicably flicked the man on his gentleman's sausage. Why did he do it? He said afterwards, "I've no idea why I did it. He might have been a little bit tipsy. We have no idea." Immediately, though, the man apologised. He just said sorry. His wife apologised, and everything seemed to be all right. But then the steward, for whatever reason, reported him. And now the man who did something very, very minor could have actually faced 10 years in jail for this, but no, now he's just put on the sex offenders register. Can you imagine?
It's a life sentence being put on the sex offenders register. There are many people who should be on it and stay on it. But for something like this guy now has got so many restrictions about how he lives his life.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be put on. You shouldn't be put on there lightly. So we wonder if there is more to the story or if there's something else going on. But if not, then that's very extreme and very unjust.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It is the fact. The simple fact with the story is that he did do it. He touched the bloke. Now, but it was a split second. He wasn't there fondling. He wasn't doing anything. It was a split second, and the conversation, according to the court, went like this. The steward said, "Don't ever touch me in that area again," which is fair enough to say, but why would he expect the bloke to touch him there again? Is he going to follow him around the plane doing it? Is he going to go and find his house and stalk him? And then the bloke said, "Why, are you gay?" It was a joke. It was a joke. It wasn't good. It wasn't clever. It wasn't intelligent, but it was a joke. And to have the rest of your life ruined where you're seen as a sex offender is just unbelievable.
It wasn't lascivious by nature. It was in jest. And yes, the moral of the story is keep your hands to yourself.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah.
In an instantaneous, act of stupidity, this man's life has been written off. And if he's got no history, then why put him in the sex offenders registry? I don't know. I
don't get it. We've got to move on because we've got to try and squeeze some more stories in for you, boys and girls. We haven't really got time to talk about the historic mine in Iceland that may have to close because visitors keep pinching crystals from it. They go in there and they nick the crystals. I'll tell you what, you came here and nick plants from the Tatras, you can actually be arrested. Take note. We'll mention this one very quickly. Ho, ho, what a great day today is. Piers Morgan has promised not to tweet for a whole day in order to raise money for the Comic Relief charity, which is having its big fundraiser today. And if you are in a position to support it, it is a really good one. The Lord Alan Sugar has given £5,000 to the campaign if Piers Morgan stays quiet. Gary Lineker has dropped in another couple of thousand as well. I think it's a great thing that he's doing. He really is. Rachel's off to see a big science exhibition, and we must mention this very clever young lad. A British teenager has contacted scientists at NASA to point out an error in a set of data, which I think is really phenomenal. Miles Solomon found out that radiation sensors on the International Space Station were recording false data. So he got hold of NASA and told them about it. What a clever guy. Rachel will be annoyed because there's a new Apple phone out. It's red, apart from one country in the world.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, I still haven't... People at Apple are not listening because I still haven't received mine.
They're being very mean to you.
I'm sure it's in the post.
I'm sure it is. Rach, very quickly, a man has appeared in court in Australia, convicted of a murder that took place 47 years ago.
Yes, this is a very terrible case that's been going on forever. Young toddler, Cheryl Grimes, was taken when she was getting changed after being at the beach. And he was 16 at the time, this fellow, who's not being named. I think they're really being very careful with this case so that it doesn't collapse on them. He's not been named, so they've caught him after 47 years, and now they have actually charged him with this murder. So he'll be facing court pretty soon, I would imagine. But it's nice for the family to be able to get some sort of resolution, and
Absolutely.
It says a lot for dogged police work. It really does.
Yeah, and I think Numpty of the Week this week goes to Leigh who's an Australian, who suffered extensive injuries to his arm and confessed that he was lucky to be alive because he jumped into a river to show off to a young lady who's a British backpacker and got attacked by a crocodile.
He jumped into the mouth of a crocodile, and he also did it in pitch darkness, which is pretty stupid. And there are signs everywhere around that where he jumped off saying there's crocs in these waters, and he's a local and he knows there are crocs in the waters. He's absolutely numpty of the century almost.
Yes, I quite agree. And as I was saying earlier on, I've got to make room for this story, if nothing else for the 270-plus-year-old Leigh Banks. A drug that reverses ageing could be on the market in under 3 years. And I've seen...
dead by then.
I've seen the pictures.
What, of the ageing thing?
Yeah, and it is...
that a picture of that old lady?
Who looks old at one point,
yeah,
and then a bit later on, she looks young again.
Who in their right mind wants to do that? The part of your character and your life journey is to get older, and you should wear that proudly on your face, on your hands,
No.
I find this really silly and obnoxious. It's like plastic surgery. Get old gracefully and enjoy your badges of honour. It's just ridiculous.
Rach, you've just been horrible to me.
Why? Have you had plastic surgery?
Well, no, because the last time I had to do actually, you'd like the story, Rach. I had to do a little science bit on Slovak television last year, trying to say the name of a brand new centre that had been opened for the stargazers of this world, and the name was so awkward that you just couldn't say, nobody from outside the country would ever be able to say it. And I practiced like mad, and then I said a partially naughty word at the end, which was kind of like mayor in French, that I couldn't say the word, you see. And before the filming took place, the camera crew, the sound man, and the journalists were there, and they said, "Oh, right, are you ready then, Eric?" I said, "No, not yet." They said, "Why?" So I just got popped to the bathroom. And they went, "Oh, okay." And when I came back, they said, "That was a long time in the bathroom." I said, "Yeah, I had to put my makeup on." And they looked at me. What?
You're not reversing ageing. I mean, and if you're on television...
Rach, I put astringent across the side of my eyes, let it set, so I didn't have any laughter lines.
Well, what for? That's just silly. We don't know if you're laughing. It's like freezing your face with rat poison or Botox, as they call it.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing to do. You're expressionless, and nobody can see your character or your emotions or that you've got any. It's horrendous. Stop doing it, everyone.
But I looked old.
Oh, darling.
So what?
But I don't want to be old.
I know that feeling, Rach. I don't want to be old. I don't want to look old. I understand that. Maybe
it's all right for you, Rach, because you look young.
That's because she is young.
Well, I know that, but she still looks young, even when she's put another year on. She still looks young. She's like Peter Pan.
Oh, bless. Thank you.
Oh, did I say something? I just said something nice.
Well, you didn't.
But I'm getting little wrinkles around my eyes now. I'm getting wrinkles around my eyes now, and I'm really proud of them. It shows that I've lived and that I've felt things. And
no, that's because you're grimaced. That's because you grimace every week listening to Leigh and I.
No, that's because I'm married to Robbie and he's just horrendous.
Oh, you're going to be so much trouble. Rachel, it's time for you to tell us where you are going this weekend, because I'm sure you'd like to tell everybody.
I would. In the morning, I'm flying to Brisbane and I'm going to the World Science Festival, which is going to be a great big nerd fest and so awesome. I'm going to meet my bestest friend in the whole wide world, Paul Brown, there, and we're going to have a day of science and fun and laughter.
And science, Leigh. Science.
Yeah. Science.
Educational stuff.
I wish I was going.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. I'd love
I'll give you a full report next week.
Rach, if he even volunteers to come across, don't do it.
Why?
Because you'll only get to see 2, maybe 3 of the exhibits, because it will take you that long to explain each one to him.
I'm only going to see 2 tomorrow anyway because I've got to fly from Melbourne and then I've got to go to sleep at night and then fly back.
There's no answer to that at all.
How far's Melbourne? How far's Melbourne?
From Brisbane?
Yeah.
2.5 hours by air.
All right. Leigh, what are you doing the weekend?
I think I'm just going to go and rage against the light. I will not go gentle into that good night.
I love that. I love that lovely poem.
Oh, okay.
Who wrote it? I bet you don't know who wrote it.
I can't remember.
Anyway, Rach, it's time for you to say goodbye.
Goodbye, Rach.
Right. Sooty and sweep time.
I've got a new one.
No, I want Sooty and sweep.
Oh, all right then. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
And goodbye from me as well. We've got some great music coming up across the weekend. Just go to RTI's website, www.rti.fm, and you'll find all that you need to know there, because that's the place to be. It really is. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.